All right, well, let's do this. Let's take advantage, if we could, of the fact that TYMONGER had Nightcrawler crawling around on the outside of the building, and we'll just go ahead and move forward, and then if slash when he if slash when he returns, then we will allow him to kind of figure out how to connect with you all. But I think we can do it. I think we can do it. So the three of you are eventually at the at the end of a long corridor. Someone not in a guard uniform, or rather not wearing like a helmet and armor, not like that, but still clearly in uniform, steps out of a side room and ushers you in, and inside is a waiting room. So there's like a table and chairs for clients to meet with their representation. But actually, similar to the tunnel that you used to get here, there's kind of some dust, some cobwebs. This is not a room that has been used in a long time, which probably answers the questions regarding due process and so on. And so you're asked to wait, and a few minutes go by. Nothing super exciting happening. There's no signs of anybody coming to the door. However, if we're thinking about the camera's view, we're going to shift view for a moment to the interior of that silo that was in the inside of the base, in the middle of the base. And as the camera kind of zooms in and fades through the wall, we see this picture. We see Aurora Monroe sort of suspended in midair of the silo. Her electricity being ripped from her. She's being used almost like a power source for the facility. Clearly not here of her own volition, and clearly not clearly in agony to some degree. She is able to as the lightning is being kind of pulled out, and everything is happening that we're capturing. Her control collar, she's finally able to like override it. She's fighting back against the lightning. It's been 2 weeks, Jubilee had said, since they'd last seen her. So she's been here for a while struggling, and she's finally able to blast inwards, kind of get some control of what's going on, and it blasts the control collar. And the guards there immediately run for their weapons kind of at the station near the bottom of the silo, but she zaps them. Unfortunately, when she zaps them, considering that this silo was kind of powering the facility, and we had talked about like the roads out into the city that are well kept have lights that are still on and everywhere else is dark, considering that she was being used as a power source doing all of this and has now just broken free and is attacking these guards, her lightning arcs out, and she's fatigued and not on her A game, and it hits some of the other equipment nearby, and so there's this explosion, and it rumbles through the facility, and it's this huge just it's like thunder magnified times 100, right? Because it's reverberating through all of the metal, the chairs, that you're sitting on, if you have chosen to sit, kind of skip, and the chair the table rumbles, and there's just, it's like a chain reaction from the silo kind of out into the rest of the facility. And so we've got some lovely explosions here. And just, and the lights go out. All that power goes out. There's some emergency klaxons that kick up almost immediately. The spotlights in the courtyard start sweeping back and forth. There's pillars of smoke coming out of some of these areas, huge areas that are still on fire. Aurora, for her part, is nowhere to be seen in our camera view. But all the electronics and the door locks and everything, there's no power anywhere. The window that you have in your waiting room, out looking onto the courtyard, the window that you have out looking onto the courtyard provides a clear view of some of this destruction as some of the debris goes just kind of flying out over the fences, and there's little fires here and there, guards running this way and that. The cheapo sentinels, I'm calling them cheapo sentinels, start moving back and forth to try to make some rescue efforts and repair efforts, and there's some secondary explosions and that sort of stuff. But then in the courtyard, kind of up above the whole area, up in the sky, there's just this what's the best way to describe it, like this tense tenseness, this the suspense where like you get that tingling feeling on the back of your neck. It's like electricity, but it's something more, like a static electricity, but it's something more. Do we have Ty yet? No, we don't have Ty yet. Electricity. The clouds start to billow in, huge thunder clouds, and it's dark now. I mean, it's already night, but there's no stars that can be seen. There's no moon that can be seen. Huge rolling, dark, thick black clouds roll in, and there's thunder, and the thunder is going back and forth between the clouds, and the lightning is going back and forth between the clouds, and there's this rolling thunder. But the lightning that's going back and forth isn't normal lightning. It's not just like your regular electric white lightning. Some of it is blue, some of it is pink, kind of like a fluorescent pink, and sort of prismatic, sort of rainbowy colors that all sort of coalesce into this portal above the courtyard. And the portal's maybe 20 feet by 20 feet, sort of round and crackling. And through that portal steps or floats this figure here. And it looks not unlike a sentinel, but like a clearly an upgraded model of a sentinel. If it stood, it'd be about 10 feet tall. Pale white metal and some purple highlights, bathed in this electric glow, which it's more than just electrical energy, okay? And Tyr especially kind of gets or maybe I should say Foggy, but Tyr, this would get Tyr's attention. There's something a little bit familiar about this energy that's on display here. And this figure shouts out like a booming voice echoed with the thunder that's going on. "Peace, citizens. Nimrod the Worthy has arrived." Awesome. And I should point out too that this figure that you are seeing there, on their chest, they have this rock, this stone, something strapped to them, to their chest. Which seems to be kind of fueling them to some degree, or maybe that's where it gets its powers from as a robot, something to that effect. So we're going to move right into this action scene with Nimrod the Worthy, boss. Okay. We've got our scene distinctions here of everything's dark, everything's tense, and everything's ruined. And I think I was like struggling for coming up with scene distinctions, and I feel like those are just, that hits all the marks if you want to use them as distinctions. Everything's dark, the power is out, it's nighttime, the thunderclouds are blocking out all light. The only light source at the moment is him, and presumably, let's not forget, the sentinel detector also does kind of glow, right? So other than the little glowing sentinel detector, and in fact, not only is all the power out, but some of the lampstands, remember the lampstand that the lamppost that the sentinel had been impaled on in your first encounter, some of those that have not been active in a long time sort of start to glow just a little bit, just from so much ambient energy bleeding out of Nimrod as he's floating there. So do we have Ty? We don't have Ty. That's all right.
I don't think so yet.
And no response either, huh?
No response.
Yeah, me either. Okay. Well, that's all right. Oh, I need to copy over the stuff. All right, good enough. Roll 20 being complicated. And I've got my 1d10. So let's take a look at Nimrod the Worthy Boss data file here. We've got 3d12 boss dice. We've got d10 Mystical Mechanical Blast that he can do, and he has a d10 Beyond Any Mere Sentinel power trait. Far beyond any regular Sentinel that's been developed. Self-repairing. At the beginning of his turn, he can step up his lowest boss die, if that's possible. So you guys are working to take out his boss dice. The lowest one at the beginning of his turn steps back up one step. And then still mostly a robot, step up any electromagnetic related stress or complication. So if you happen to like electrocute him or do something that's, anti-robot, then that is in your favor. So he's crackling and glowing, and he's just said, "Peace, citizens. Nimrod the Worthy is here." Is there someone who has an idea about something to do first?
Kind of. I wanted to use reach out with my mind control and try to have the ones controlling the sentinels that are already there, to use their technology to try to control Nimrod.
You want to say that again?
I want to mind control like the people, the human guards that are there. Oh, wait a minute, they don't have any electricity, so that would be dumb.
The Sentinels aren't being controlled by anybody. Like, they're sentient.
Oh, they're just sentient?
Yeah. So let's do this. So he turns to the facility and starts gliding over to the facility and where the wreckage is, and starts just kind of like making scans. He has not made any move towards you. So you guys certainly have an ambush advantage, if you like.
Okay, I'm going to look at the group and say, well, how are we going to handle this one? I think we need your friend. A lawyer is going to be helpful in this situation.
I mean, I could try reasoning with him.
I think it might work.
So let's have a brief out of character conversation here. What happened to the Talus when Tyr turned into Foggy?
Now that's a good question.
I know. That's why I'm asking. Do you think it's still on his arm, or? I mean, it would still have to be something like that, but like, did it change into a different ornament of some kind, or?
I think it's just on Foggy's arm beneath his jacket. I think they just swap places and it ends up in the same spot. Maybe it's on over his jacket. Yeah, just like an ostentatious piece of jewelry. Behold my blingy talus.
Sounds kind of wrong.
All right. Well, that being the case, Emma, do you want to take an action, or so just if nobody else has any better ideas?
Go ahead. Whoever was just talking.
Bryan, do you want to act first?
Yes. I will go ahead and I will click my lucky ballpoint pin 3 times, transforming from Foggy Nelson into Tyr of Battle. And I will I will actually I will once again, I mean, it's Tyr. First thing he's going to do is he's going to act first and think later, but this one's going to be a hinder. What? I'm forgetting the core BW rules. Say it, assemble it, roll it, resolve it.
Yes.
Tyr is going to attack with the intent to deal physical stress.
Okay, cool. So that's an action, so go ahead and do that. And you see my whisper.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. That is an act first, think later. Hinder. That's D12 for godlike strength, and I am actually gonna snag that doom die from you and go berserk.
And that steps it down, right?
No, actually, it steps it up for each action I borrow it for.
Oh, Berserk steps up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm dealing because I'm just like going so crazy that everything around me.
Right. So you're gonna
Yeah,
bust through the wall and do this, or?
yeah, no, he's not sure what he senses yet, but yeah, Tyr is like, oh, something's here, and he's like, ah.
Okay, I'm following you.
And no, I lost my character sheet because I'm juggling tabs. There it is. This is combat. This is violence.
Oh, I thought the 12 was gonna be a 12. Okay.
So now that my monitor has come back on, let's see what I got here. Let's go with total 14. Um, effect 10.
Okay.
And I'm gonna snag that plot point for that hinder I did, but
Yep.
I'm not using it.
So I'm gonna go 3d12, but I'm gonna add in the d8 from your complication, your brother complication.
Okay. I'm going crazy and throwing that, but something about this guy just reminds me of this Thor guy they tell me about.
Well, you got a total of 14. I think. I gotta go with the better total. I mean, I'm gonna go with 17.
Oh no, that's okay.
So, making your attempt at physical stress or inflicting physical stress, there's just so much energy flowing around him, but so it doesn't work. And maybe it's because you're just not so concentrated. You know, you're kind of in that berserk mode, and you've got that complication going on. But you have his attention. Who would you like to go next?
I'm gonna hand it off to Slaphappy.
All right, what's Slaphappy gonna do about all this?
She is going to reach into her pockets to pull out dual smiting hammers of EMP.
Oh, okay.
And then go bounding up and yoink!
These are like lightning hammers or something.
Yeah.
Cool. I dig that.
So I think that this this is pretty foolish. So I'm gonna do might be delusional, and I think that this is hindering me. So I'm gonna take that with the plot point. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that.
So you have this D4 asset of Sentinel Detector, which actually I think should be D6. I don't think you can make D4 assets. I think if it comes out as a D4, it still gets stepped up to a D6. But you also have that stress, so I'm going to have that D12 stress in my pool.
You might not.
Oh.
Um,
I see.
Actually, I'll go ahead and say you won't.
Okay.
because after I roll this, I'm going to spend that plot point to use a special effect, which is positive affirmations.
Yep.
So I'm going to be like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Yes. Yes,
And
fantastic.
And I think that recovers all of my stress.
It does, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That I wrote it in as mental stress, so it's emotional stress, so it doesn't work. It wouldn't work.
To recover your own mental stress. Oh, it does. Ooh. Let's call this one of those things where you meant also emotional stress, where we
Perfect.
said you can change your character sheets if they aren't working out. Let's do
Awesome.
that.
Plot point spent. It's too late now. And this is for the glory.
And this is to deal stress, physical stress to Nimrod.
Yes. Where's it for the glory? Yeah, it's got to be for the glory. And enhanced strength. Another D8. Acrobatics.
I'm gonna.
And then I'm also I'm gonna hit the sentinel detector to send it flying into
Yes.
Nimrod, supercharged by the mallet.
Nice.
So
I'm
I think that'll
looking at the time here, and I know things were weird because of where we left off last time, so I'm actually going to knock off one of these D12s. Because I don't think 3 D12s is going to... I don't think we're going to have time to finish that. Alright. I mean, that's not the worst pool ever.
and I'm going to use one of my anchor dice because hey, look, isn't that Squirrel Girl? So it's a 15d8.
15, yeah, 15 D8. So this is going to be 2 D12s, his boss dice, and then the D10, I feel like, beyond any mere sentinel, only because you just threw the sentinel detector at him, and it feels like it's narratively relevant that he is like an evolved sentinel. Oh, hang on. Okay. Okay. I have information regarding TYMONGER. Okay, so I'm going to have the 2 D12s and the D10. What was your total? 17? Oh my gosh! What is up with my rolling? I remember that time that I rolled a 14. And good job. So your D8 steps down to one of those D12s. I'm sorry. I'm ready to I don't want to be dragon. It's not even 11:30. We have growth rolls and stuff to do. So I will take the lower total, which allows your effect die to take place, which steps back one of those D12s.
All right, so Emma.
All right. I'm going to try to do something.
That's the idea.
I'm going I'm going to use my my tech expert knowledge, and I'm going to try to coat Tyr in a reflective sheet of ice, like coat of ice,
Ooh.
that will deflect or reflect any energy used against him.
Okay, I dig it.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah, if Tyr's cool with it, I'm cool with it. It's ice. We're all cool with it.
All right, I will use Bobby's kind, gentle heart distinction.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I threw the last roll and then I didn't let Slaphappy narrate her success.
I'm sorry. I'm happy to wait.
Do you want to add anything to your success there, Jumbo?
Yeah, sure. So the sentinel detector is supercharged as it flies through the air, smacks Nimrod right in the chest, and with a yep, kind of like falls back down to the ground and runs back to me.
Yeah. That's 100% what I was visioning. Yep. All right. Apologies.
No
So
problem.
go ahead, Emma. Do your ice thing.
I'm doing my ice thing right now. Okay. I'm going to step up my ice mastery to D12, and I'm going to use safety distinction. I mean value, and try to type it in the right way. And if you feel like it's narratively relevant, I will try to use my tech expert skill.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
I'm assuming I'm not rolling against Sentinel particularly.
You're taking the action. Are you trying to make it an asset for Tyr?
I'm creating an asset for him to use.
Oh.
Yeah. So
All right.
on his rolls.
So let me roll my d12 to set your difficulty for the test. Oh my word.
How very dare you?
This is historical. So there's your total to beat 12 to do your asset. There you go.
Okay, let's see. So my 13 will be my total. And effect die is D12. Now, do I need to spend a plot point to make that usable by Tyr?
No, so that's one of the interesting things that I think the idea is if you make a test created asset, it's supposed to be for you, and if you want to share it with anyone, you have to spend a plot point. But in my mind, if you are not making it for yourself, if it's still only going to one person, I don't see any reason why you can't do that. Because it's still only being usable by one person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. So Tyr has a D12 asset of all iced up. All right, cool. So Ty's not back.
I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. We all been there. So I will go. I will take my turn with Nimrod. And at the beginning of his turn, he steps up his lowest stress. So he's back up to 12-12. This is like, he's kind of like regenerating the area that the Sentinel detector hit. It's kind of like it was dented and now it's like popping back out. And he is turning towards you all. But I think, yeah, it's clear that Tyr is the obvious target here, being all iced up. So I think he's going to make a blast to just like electrical energy, mystical energy, this sort of stuff.
Okie doke. I'm assuming with the intent of physical stress.
Physical stress, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, don't think I didn't notice that you added mystical to get around that invulnerable VW.
I mean,
but that's all right.
Sometimes I prepare. So we will call that a 15 with a D10. $15 with a D10 to do physical stress on Tyr.
Okay. So I'm going to resist with Warrior Born. I'm going to resist with Superhuman Durability. Wait, no. I'm going to resist with my Mystic Resistance.
Ooh, okay. You do have the iced up
Oh, yeah.
asset too, so.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the reminder. The iced up asset. I'm using my combat. And I'm using safety because my safety is a secondary concern. So I'm actually just not being safe. It's a D4. And I plan to, after this, use my resources.
Okay.
If I need to.
Would you like a Slaphappy shared safety of D4?
Sure. Get you that D4 growth. Thank you for the hitch, Slaphappy.
It's a plot point, man.
It is a plot point. So grab a plot point. I'm going to put another die in my Doom pool.
All right. So that makes versus your total 15. I can actually beat that, but have a slightly different idea. So I'm going to do total 12 effect D4. Doesn't really matter. All right. So I'm going to take what you're throwing at me.
Okay.
But I just want to, if it's all right, I want to activate my exhausted limit, and whatever you're doing to me, I feel like it's gonna it's gonna exhaust my mystic resistance with this beam. Does that make sense?
Wow. I mean, it's just physical stress coming at you. So if you want it to like kind of drain you.
No, just like it overwhelms my mystic resistance to the point that it like just temporarily uh like when you see something you don't want to see and your eyesight temporarily shuts down.
Oh, okay, yeah, like that thing. Yeah, I know exactly. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like it yeah, it overwhelmed it. It kind of we can say drained if you want to. I think that's fair.
Cool. All right, we're back at the start of a new round. That was the blast against Tyr, but Slaphappy threw herself out there. So Slaphappy, what are you gonna do?
Um, so I like the idea of kind of grabbing the Sentinel detector. Needs a better name than that.
It does. Feel free to correct me, whatever you want to call it.
I'll work on something.
Sure.
But grabbing the Sentinel detector, and again hitting it with the mallet to charge it up, and running up and gonna slam dunk it right into Nimrod's face
Nice.
with a couple bounces and a all right, so let me build a pool. It's of course a living cartoon sort of thing. And this, I'm going to say this is violence. And I think with this, it's not just the EMP stuff, but also attempting to mind control this thing, like to make it. Slaphappy remembers what happened to the last Sentinel that he faced, so might want to try to do something similar to that.
Sure.
Does Nimrod know happiness?
He could. He could.
Well, this Sentinel detector in his face will certainly make him happy. And because this is kind of a physical attack, I'm going to include my enhanced strength. Acrobatics. Okay. Squirrel Girl might be helping me out again. Ooh. Lovely hitch.
Alright, so yeah, I'll buy the hitch.
And I will spend. Oh, I forgot to include the Sentinel detector. I just did 1d6, so that was for my violence.
Right. Because it's at the new value. So yeah, throw another. There you go. You could do an 18 with the D8. That's not shabby.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw down that plot point. 18d8. So does Nimrod have a mouth?
Yes, it doesn't move when he speaks. It's like a faceplate kind of thing, but he does. But I mean, if you need to, are you going to narrate slam dunking the into his mouth?
Yeah, so just try to just cram it right in there.
Okay. I'm not going to include Beyond Any Mere Sentinel in this roll, so I'll just have a magical D4 effect die, because I think we're learning that maybe he's not Beyond Any Mere Sentinel here. All right, so that is an 11 and a hitch, or an opportunity, I guess.
No plot point, but somebody else can use it.
Winter or Bryan, do either of you want to spend a plot point to do anything? Tyr, you could step down a brother. You can also use it to step up an asset that exists. So like Slaphappy could step up the D6 Sentinel detector to D8 and give it a fun name.
I think I want to buy it. Do you want to buy it, Jumbo? Or
I don't have any plot
Winter?
points.
Oh yeah, right. Tyr, you don't have any plot points. You gonna grab it for Tyr?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. Emma, do you wanna? Oh, we don't really have anything either. Okay.
I don't really have anything I can use it for yet.
Okay. Well, the good news is it's a heroic success, which steps up the D8 to a D10, but it's still only going to step down one of the D12s to a D10. All right, Slaphappy. Who's next?
Let's go with Nimrod.
All right. Now let me ask you an out of character question. I have this self-repairing SFX. Is that too much? I feel like it's too much at this point. Originally in my planning, I had you guys going to the base at the end of the first session. So, but it feels like it's getting sloggy. Does that feel like that to anyone else, or is that just me?
I think it only might be too much because we lost a player, and so like
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be able to. We may or may not be able to in a timely manner take him down.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree.
I think that's the only thing that's really, it's just the, yeah. That, and, you know, it's not feeling sluggy, it's just that it's late.
Yeah.
But we're not tired, but like, we're running low on time, is all the
Yeah.
crunch.
Right.
Yeah.
But you did say we could go over. People are conscious
did.
enough to.
I did.
I'm good with that.
Though being short a player going into the growth rolls and stuff like that feels but that's okay. All right, well then let's do that. Let's forget about that SFX. But I will take my turn. And I'm going to so we've got Tyr, we got Emma, we got Slaphappy. Nimrod is not happy at Slaphappy right now. And I feel like that's probably going to be the target of his ire. So he's going to try and just zap Slaphappy with the same sort of mystical, electrical energy kind of stuff that he slammed Tyr with.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but Slaphappy made him a little bit happy with the Sentinel detector because he's all warm and fuzzy.
That's true. Daggone it, Jumbo. I skipped past narrate your success again, didn't I? I'm all over the place tonight.
It's fine. I see the clock too.
So is the implication that the Sentinel detector has been like pushed down his slam dunked into his vocal aperture?
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right.
A little happiness frog in his throat.
Yeah. And maybe that's represented by the fact that he just says, "How dare you!" But as he says it, it kind of like squeaks like a puberty thing, like "How dare you!" And so he lashes out to zap you with this mystical energy, D17, or a total of 17 with a D10.
All right. So Slaphappy is gonna activate some of the cartoony powers and attempt to kind of bounce it right off of her with her godlike durability.
Yeah.
So cartoon. Guess I'll do a safety for this. Because I'm not worried about this. This is his name is Nimrod.
That's pretty funny.
And then athletics expert again. All right, so cartoon, safety, ectoplasmic form with durability, and acrobatics expert. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
And
Oh my word.
2 beautiful hits.
Well, so you've got 2 hitches. I will buy them each to step up the lowest die in the Doom pool. So now my Doom pool is 2 D12s. So that's worth 2 points for you. But it is a heroic success for me. 17 to 12.
Oh no.
Which means my D10 becomes a D12 physical stress on Slaphappy. Very zapped. I think it's probably a shape-shifting scramble where like it's Karen Page and it's the Slaphappy from like giving the kid the autograph and like kind of just like morphing and going through those changes, like the T1000 when it falls in the solvent.
So I'll spend a plot point to activate my special effect of invulnerability.
There you go. Okay.
Ignore physical stress.
I wondered. Good. So maybe it's like that happens, but like you just bounce right back like rubber, no problems.
So what happens is she's hit and feels it and falls backwards and manifests some flowers on her chest because she's dead.
Right.
And then like bounces right back up.
Fantastic. So I will have Emma go next. Emma, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? All right. I feel like I've helped out my allies a little bit. I'm going to. Can I tell? Like, I'm just going to try to use my tech expertise to try to target his weapon systems, try to knock his blast out that he keeps punishing us with.
Sure.
So I'm just going to send like giant ice shards at him. All right, so all right, and I will use my Ice Blast and Tech Expert and I guess Violence.
You guess violence. I'm going to target I'm going to target his systems with a giant ice. I guess that's violence.
I guess that's violent, yeah. Could be. Oof. Oh no.
Wow. I think I'll buy that, and so give yourself a plot point, and I'll give
All
you
right.
some. Yeah, very oof. Look at the rolls this evening though. Like it's been consistently that way. It's the opposite of last week when my Sentinel couldn't get a hit in, and now it's all coming out. So I will inflict. I will buy those hitches and inflict a complication on you, and I think that complication is going to be a D8.
Oh no.
I think what you're going to start to be distracted from, we're just going to call it distracted, but it's all of the minds of all of the people. So it's been a few minutes, right? Or not a few minutes, but a few beats since Nimrod has appeared, since the facility has just been ripped apart by Aurora's electrical sort of attack. And so there are people who are crying out, that are injured and trying to organize efforts and relief efforts and things. So there's just like this background. She's so focused and concentrated on Nimrod that maybe her psychic defenses to some extent are not on their game, and so she's getting some psychic backlash from just like all of the panic and stuff in the area and fear. I mean, it's Nimrod, and the mutants who are there in the facility certainly knows what Nimrod means. So I'm going to throw a D8 complication of distracted on Emma. Yeah, exactly, Brian. I've had a lot of max rolls on my dice, and a lot of crits on all y'all's dice, which is just really odd. It's not what I'm used to, I'll tell you. Very shady. My hashtag science skills, I was using them to hack Roll20 this week. All right, so Winter, if you want to jot down that total that you do have of 11, I will.
Oh, my bad, I forgot. Total 11. and D4.
So I'm rolling the D10 and the D12 for my boss dice, and then the D10 for Mystical Mechanical Blast.
Oh goodness.
You had an 11. I am not going to spend to keep anything. So I will just do a total of 10. Which technically means my D10 would step down your D4 effect, but that seems silly. I don't know if there's a rule against that, actually. If that's technically not possible, or if it's possible and we're just saying it doesn't make sense. But either way, we'll step the 10 down to an 8. And you can narrate your success.
Okay, so she just pulls back and starts flinging ice shards out of her hand, probably hitting a couple of internal a couple internal circuits inside of him, making him spark and crackle. Then she starts looking around, hearing all the voices and the fear and the screaming, and so she just stops in the middle, and then stops in the middle of what she's doing to put her hands in her head and try to shake the distraction off.
Perfect. All right. The only one left is Tyr. So what's Tyr going to do?
Tyr turns and he looks at Slaphappy and Emma. Friends, the Talus still speaks to me. I do not believe that we can win this battle without the storm. We must free the storm. Go. Save her. I'll hold him. I have an idea. And he turns and looks at Nimrod. I smell the stink of Odin on you. And I think I know what's on your chest. And he looks into the sky and he says, if there is an All-Father in this world, if only for 1 second, make me worthy. And so I'm going to spend a plot point for a worthy asset. Patoosh. Nope, didn't actually spend it. So yeah, I'm going to generate a D6 worthy asset, and I'm going to attack the Mystical Mechanical Blast. Attempting to lower the trait. By attempting to pull what I assume is a hunk of Mjolnir out of Nimrod.
Okay. So you are... So say what you're targeting again?
I am
Like
targeting Mystical Mechanical Blast. I'm
Okay.
targeting the trait.
Okay.
And I'm spin. Oh, you got the worthy. There we go. Okay.
Yep.
So this is D6 for the worthy. This is something. This is Warrior Born. This is how I earn my honor. I will use my superhuman reflexes to catch it. If it comes to me. And wow, I don't really know. No, that's a cosmic specialty. Asgardian stuff is cosmic.
Yep.
And it has to do with home. So my base roll is D8 distinction, D10 power, D8 value, I'm kind of losing track. That's one from each set.
Oh no.
Oh, there's that red.
Oh, no.
But also, I called to the Allfather, and I have Asgard as an anchor.
Okay, and Jumbo is giving you a D6 home as well. All right.
Okay, so that is total 13, but I'm going to spend a plot point to make that total 20. Ooh, the 5 for the resource makes it 25 with an effect D6.
Okay.
And there's that plot point. Yeah, so I mean, I call to the Allfather, and then I reach out and I try and call that hunk of Uru rock.
So I'm gonna roll. I've got my D10, my D12, and my D8. And with a 25, if you can't get 2 heroic successes, I mean certainly 1 heroic success. But I'm following the rules here. Let's see how we do. There we go. All right. So that's a total of 11, which gives you a double heroic success. Actually, it gives you a double heroic success, almost a triple heroic. Which steps your D6 up to a D10, which beats the trait, which removes the trait. So please narrate your success, and then I'll pick it up from there.
So I'm reaching out, I'm calling that hunk of Uru, and it just starts to come towards me, kind of like Mjolnir does for Thor in the movies. But it was only a short burst of worthy, so it rips kind of partially out of Nimrod's chest, and kind of slings towards us. It's less that it's coming straight towards my hand, and more like it was just thrown out of his chest towards my feet, almost like it's just bouncing and rolling towards me.
Perfect. All right. The hunk of stone being ripped from Nimrod's chest, your hunch was correct in the sense of as soon as it's pulled from him, there's this scream, robotic scream, also warbled with a little bit of the scratchy, skippy stuff because of the sentinel detector that's still jammed down his maw. But the electrical and mystical energy all just kind of like follows the rock and not him, so he's left sort of depowered with this hole in his chest, and he just falls unceremoniously in a crump in the courtyard. The stone at your feet begins to glow of its own accord, and there are glyphs that you can see on it, but in no discernible language, though Tyr specifically feels a kinship to them. Give me a second. So the hunk of stone is at the feet of Tyr, and just kind of this mystical energy just is kind of rolling over its surface that it has just pulled from Nimrod, and then it blasts up into the sky. Not the rock, but the energy blasts up into the sky, and it begins to show this almost light show, not unlike when the Time Broker was doing his deal, but this is, again, I guess I say the word hologram a lot. Projection, something to that effect. That there's pictures being shown in the sky, but it's not like a reality warping thing like the Time Broker. And there's a voice that comes from the stone itself, and it's not it's audible, but it's not just audible. Emma especially would feel this psychically, like there's a reverberation, and it doesn't sound like one voice, it sounds like a multitude of voices all kind of speaking together as one, and it just says, "The story of the god Tempest, the mother of thunder." And the pictures up above, oh, are you kidding me? Okay, there we go. the pictures up above begin to swirl and coalesce into this formation of planets and moons and a star. It's a solar system, and the light is so pure that you just know that this is like the dawn of creation. And there is across the cosmos, there's this storm, this galactic size storm that is about to sweep across this planet or these planets. And it begins to sort of buffet them and just wash over them and rip away the atmosphere and the life that's on it, in terms of like plant life and stuff. They begin to collide from the force of this storm, and it leaves behind a husk of a solar system in its wake, a dead star. The planets are just shattered, and there's pieces of planet kind of just floating, and moons. And this plays out kind of as you're watching it plays out, and there's a sort of a traveling, this idea that this storm is doing this over and over again, playing out across an entire universe, until eventually it comes to a site that is probably familiar to some degree with all of you, certainly with Tyr. A rainbow road, a city in the sky. The storm is raging, there's lightning arcing. So there's a battle between this father god and this mother of thunder, storm, god tempest, and it rages and it rages. Time doesn't mean anything. It could be minutes, it could be days, it could be millennia. There's just a trade back and forth, stalemate between this god and this storm, until eventually the storm tires and the god is able to grab a heft of rock and hurls it into the storm and weaves his magics, and the whole storm collapses and fights almost as if it's the sentient being that's just fighting against it, but it's eventually absorbed into this stone. And then the picture changes, and it's like this forge, hammers just battering on this stone, battering it into shape, etching on it. And then there are finally mystical enchantments and things that wash over it. And it has, obviously, as you can see in the picture here, it's now got this shaft and this to be wielded as a weapon, but it's just sitting there. No one's wielding it. And at last, the entire montage kind of comes to an end, just focused on that image. And then so there's a pause with just that, and then almost like lightning flashing across the entire sky and flashing across through the whole image is just all of these different heroes throughout time that have wielded this hammer, but they've all fallen. So it's like their last moments. And then at the end, you have Tyr, like you have a depiction of what just happened, with Tyr kind of calling it forth, and then it falls on the ground. The glyphs on the stone at your feet begin to shift and change into a language that is discernible. And it says, "Whosoever holds this hammer, if she be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor." And as those words become clear, a figure walks out from the destruction at the end of the base, and it's Aurora, and her hair is billowing like it always does, because that's what Aurora's hair does, except I guess when she's the punk one. But she's coming forward, and they no she comes forward, and she reaches out towards the stone, like across the courtyard, and the stone begins to float up and go towards her hand, and it begins to pick up speed, and at the moment that it gets to her hand, it transforms back into that hammer from the picture before, and the voice, they both say at the same time, both Aurora and the Mother Storm, to me, worthy storm. And it's this giant light show, and there's lightning, and Aurora is transformed, and suddenly the sound gets dimmer and the visuals get dimmer, and it's clear as your senses start to blend that you have freed the storm and the Talus is calling you back. And you find yourselves once again sitting in the kitchenette in the middle of that desert. In the sky, instead of clear blue, is a picture of space. And there you can see the Mother Storm kind of hanging in the space. Remember, this isn't a real place. It's just a collective unconsciousness. So it's not the real Mother Storm, but like the sky is now taken on an element of the Mother Storm.
That was awesome!